thanks for tuning into F1 Podcast. We're up to episode 80 now. And Max, we've got a very interesting Spa review to talk about tonight.
Well, we sure do.
Yeah, what a race. Oh my God, we've had so many comments and emails from you guys. Our channel's basically exploded a little bit, Max, with all of the action going on.
Yes, there's comments from both camps, which we'll go into shortly, the Ferrari camp and the McLaren camp.
Yes. Yeah, but before we get to that, let's talk about the race a little bit, Max. Let's talk about the fact that Lewis will start the race on pole, and there was always going to be some action at the source, as far as I could see, Max. And there it was. Kimi took the lead pretty much straight up. Very aggressive move by Kimi, mate.
It was great.
It was a great move by Kimi. I was pretty stoked, but he led away then for a while. Lewis sort of followed in behind, and Kimi looked like he was going to win the race.
Looked like he was going to walk away with it, no doubt about it.
Yeah.
But wasn't it great to see the camera angles, if you were watching the ITV feed, them coming up Air Rouge? I mean, it gives you an idea just how steep it is up there, and it was really good camera work. I thought it was great to see.
Yeah, Spa looked great, and they kept on talking about the helicopter pilot going around there, and just
he was a stunt pilot apparently, wasn't he?
They got some great footage of the circuit.
Oh, really?
Spa is always spectacular to look at as a circuit, and
delivered everything we wanted, mate.
It did.
A great track, a pretty good race, and we well, I know you and I, but we're both hoping for a rain, mate, and we got it right at the end.
Yeah, we did, mate. Yeah, Kimi and Lewis came in on the first pit stop at the same time, and I thought, you know what, these guys are just tagging each other, and they'll do that to the end of the race. And I was kind of settling into Kimi winning the race, but you're right, mate. The rain was coming, and they kept on predicting it. And I was thinking, come on, yeah, bring on the rain, and it came all right.
Sure did, mate. Can I just say one thing though? I just want to give kudos to Jarno Trulli for his start. I thought his start was absolutely phenomenal when he took off, and just seeing the in-car footage of,
it was fantastic.
I can't remember which car we were in, but just to see Trulli just going flying through, it was unreal. So
and I think Bourdais followed him through as well. It was a great start from Trulli,
and that was about as good as Toyota got. But well done, Jarno.
Yeah, and also actually a shit start from Heikki, making him go way back, and at least there was some overtaking from Heikki throughout the race until, of course, oh my God.
Don't mention it.
Yeah, we have to talk about it, Max.
We
have to.
Must we?
He got his ride-through penalty, and you guys saw it. As far as I could see, he
the word
every
ambitious.
minute of that.
The word ambitious comes to mind.
Yeah, when you hit the rear quarter of someone's car, you deserve everything you get. And Heikki was a bit ambitious there, and basically took Webber out of the race, or
out of some points at least.
Well,
potentially.
Yeah, potentially at that point. But at that point,
I know he got 1 point, but we're talking.
We know that, but at that time I was thinking, oh, his race is over. But I couldn't believe that. But
no, it happens, mate. We were both pretty philosophical about it. I guess in the end, it's it sucked for us Webber fans and all of Australia, I guess, that follows Mark. But look, it happens, and Mark will do it to someone else, and someone will do it to Mark again. It's just the way it goes.
Yeah. So Kimi was leading away, blah blah blah. We're getting to that point, Max, where we're going to talk about it that you guys have been waiting for us to give our opinions on, which is those last.
Well, we're not going to. Bad luck. Okay, thanks for watching.
Thank you. Bye. Mate, those last couple of laps, unbelievable as the rain came, and as usual, they're sending people out and they're looking for spots of rain, and I was getting all excited, and it was great. It was just waiting for the rain to come, and then it came.
It was mental.
Yeah.
The last couple of laps of that race were worth bottling. There's no doubt about it. It was crazy. Yeah,
regardless of your opinion of what happened, those laps were really exciting, I tell you. And
who's going to stay on? Who's going off?
Exactly.
What's going to happen?
Yeah.
Right.
And of course, we all know what happened. Kimi, when he went off and actually was heading towards the wall, I was thinking, this is it. This car's going to hit the wall very hard, and it did, of course.
And it did.
And then Lewis putted around on the last lap. But of course, before that, when Lewis was catching Kimi, there was the incident which has been discussed so much. Max, do you want to start us off?
Excuse me. Yeah, I will start us off. Like a lot of you guys, I've replayed and watched the incident at the bus stop about 1 million times now. It's embedded in my brain.
Yeah.
The interesting thing I note is that there, as I mentioned briefly earlier, there's two camps. There's of course the Ferrari who've got the FIA in the back pocket camp, and there's the anti-McLaren camp / anti-Lewis camp. So it's been interesting to read your comments, to say the least.
Yeah, there's been heaps.
One thing I have been a little bit disappointed in is is some of the comments, with swearing and all this sort of thing at one another. I mean, that's not what we're here to discuss. We're here to discuss the incident.
It's getting a bit feisty, isn't it?
It was getting really feisty, but I understand we're a passionate bunch, and I accept that. As far as I'm concerned, Kimi into the bus stop had the racing line and was on the racing line. Lewis came up inside him, of course, as we all know. I mentioned to Pep earlier. I was looking for Lewis to have an avenue to back out in the many times that I watched it, but I realised that his front right wheel, if he'd have backed off, would have collected Kimi's rear left and would have probably spun both of them around. So, of course, as we know, he took evasive action and cut the corner there. Incidentally, a bit more grass on that corner next year, Spa.
Yeah.
It's not really a disincentive not to cut the corner, but anyway, it's another story. And then, as we know, he cut the corner and off they went. I guess we're talking about yielding or not yielding per se here. Some people say, well, Lewis did yield because Kimi was ahead of him when they crossed the start-finish line. And the other school of thought is, well, Kimi was always probably going to be ahead of him because he had the momentum, because he started accelerating earlier by keeping on the driving line going into the straight than Lewis did when he was effectively coming off a shorter space. So whether or not you call Kimi accelerating from an earlier point, therefore building up more speed by the time he came to pass Lewis, whether or not that's called Lewis yielding or not, I'm not quite sure, because to me it looked as though Lewis had the boot in, and they were both going at it neck and neck. That's my thoughts on it. Some might say that because Kimi did get to the start-finish line first, that Lewis did yield, and I know some of you have said that. Fair call. I'm not going to argue with it. If that's yielding, I don't know. Maybe it is, but I sort of figured that Lewis wouldn't have been as close to Kimi was if he didn't. If he did yield, I should say, i.e. take the foot off the accelerator or hit the brake, whatever it is you want to call it. I think he had a bit of momentum, and he wouldn't have been anywhere near Kimi if he had yielded. Your thoughts?
Well, mate, for me, it was a pretty straight racing incident. Lewis went down the escape road. He missed the corner. By that time, he let Kimi through, which, is, at the time I was watching it, I was thinking, please just let him through and then we can get the race back on. And of course he did, but as you said, mate, it's a question of how much did he let him through, and is a yield? And for me, mate, he let him through, but then he did gain a lot of momentum into turn one, and there is a big argument that you can cut corners and therefore gain time. And so, I thought that, obviously he did gain an advantage. There's no question that he didn't take the corner, so he gained an advantage, and then he did an overtaking move just 100 metres down the track.
Do you think a precedent's been set? Cut a corner, and,
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean,
it's a possibility. I mean, the Hakey thing with Webber was a no-brainer. He was always going to get a penalty. But with this, there's a lot of grey area because you never know exactly sort of how much advantage was given. You could study sector times and things like that.
That's true. Telemetry. That's right.
Yeah, look at a metre here or there. Did they overtake? What is an advantage? I think that it was a racing incident. However, I was just disappointed about the fact that the race was basically, the result was reversed 2 hours later. That to me was the most disappointing thing.
Welcome to amateur hour, everyone. I'm sorry. That was just outrageous, in my opinion.
Exactly. I mean, regardless of the incident, the fact that this is...
2 hours?
2 hours later.
2 hours?
2 hours later they made the decision and changed the, what could be the championship.